Peace,
Racism.
peace to the brothers and sisters, real quick. I wish we all had stripes on our collar or our sleeves to represent how much knowledge we have in this game. Okay, we don't even know who we're talking to. Okay, everybody here has a certain level of knowledge, which should be respected. In the army, you say, "Yes, sir, Captain. Yes, sir, Sergeant." You know who you're talking to, the Marines, whatever. But here in the hood, oh, I'm Big Head, Pee Wee, I'm Pookie, I'm Ray Ray. Well, what you got, man? How many years you did? What you go get locked up for, or did you go to college? I know a dude from Chicago, and I'm talking fast because I know my time is limited. I might get interrupted. I know a guy. He said he grew up. He was schooling me. He grew up in the projects of Chicago, which they tore down, like you used to see in Good Times. And they said the drug dealers always saw him with his backpack on. They called him Schoolboy. That was his nickname. Everybody's known for something. My name is Muhammad for a reason. I got an X for a reason. Okay. Now, for you to say there's no racism that don't exist, you putting yourself out of the schoolroom or the classroom of knowledge of self. Okay. How could you be a black man in America and say there's no racism? The whole system is based on your forehead, on your back, on your people's back. But you talking about there ain't no racism. Let's not insult our forefathers and foremothers that picked cotton and was bleeding and got their wings, as the slave said.
Okay? Who said ain't no racism?
Bro, you came on a little late, and that was the first thing that was said. There ain't no racism.
No, I was the one. I'm the one that made that comment. Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. But, okay. Now I'm a brown belt, if not a black belt in this. Okay. Now I can go individual or I can go group. I'm trying to stay group. Okay. As far as who I'm addressing here. But I really don't even like it when sisters come on because that changed the whole dynamic. Now we got to be nice. We got to be soft. The brothers are supposed to be the soldiers first and foremost. We're supposed to handle the responsibility. We're taught that in the mosque. If you've been locked up, you know you can't be no punk. One dude was on here say you're going to let yourself get punked, get your stuff took. Well, it's the same way in America. And if you ball, just playing sports, you're going to let the white boy just run you over on the football field? On the basketball court. If I'm a brother playing you like they playing next door at the gym next door where I work at the YMCA, them boys is going hard, just like we used to. I can't ball like I used to, but I'm happy to see the young boys ball. I'm happy to see Ron on here, a Jordan on here, a Prince Hakeem on here, as I call him Brown. I know him from Brown. He was rapping in Cambridge, talking about I'm the new UPS of hip hop music. That's why I call my man Brown. You understand? I know this man for rapping, going to the Apollo at a Lil Wayne concert and getting his competition to clap for him. I said, bro, how'd you even do that, man? You're supposed to be competing against these dudes to clap for you. I'm saying this to say everyone got a certain level of knowledge, okay? But let's start with a foundation. There's racism, but to your point, Truth, there's some brothers that is getting that money, and the sister was right about one thing. Cali brothers do think differently, and I'm going to tell you why y'all think differently, okay? Number one, y'all got women that are affected by the sun that treat y'all a little different. Okay, that's why the Beach Boys said ain't nothing like a Cali girl. Okay, when you could take a woman that ain't from Cali, take her there, she's gonna act different because she's in the sunshine, the palm trees. I've been to Cali. Even when I first got there, a Crip told me, he said, bro, if these chicks like you around here, they'll give it up in the first night. And he wasn't lying. I said, what? Okay, but I had to compete with white boys to get money in Cali. I had to compete with the gangbangers to get money. But the gangbangers told me, they said, hey, man, we see you ain't from around here, bro. We don't say cuz in this part of the neighborhood. My bad, because I'm just from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Well, guess what? I got rules where I come from. And one is not to be a scrub. To be called a scrub, where I come from, is one of the worst things you could ever be called. You can't shoot a swish. You can't do a layup. You can't score a touchdown. You can't bowl. You can't get a chick. You can't fight. You're a scrub. I think everyone got the equivalent from wherever you at. Now, brother made a comment about your jacket, Truth, and you didn't know what he's talking about because in different parts of the country, we speak with a different lingo. Just like if you go to Detroit, they say, what up, though? I'm like, what? What up, though? Hey, that's what they say, man. I got to say it if I'm in Detroit. And we call them goose where I come from, that type of jacket. And that's from the 80s, man. Light skin and dark skin, that was from the 80s. It's from the 20s, from the 30s. Matter of fact, I thought dark skin brothers was in. And since dark skinned brothers is in and you the pretty boys, I'll be the hardcore light skinned nigga. How about that? And I'll grill on the motherfucker like the dark skinned dudes used to do. We could do this any type of way you want to do it, man. But let's stop being a sucker for racism, saying it don't exist, saying we got a few that are successful. No, if you don't know Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm, Farrakhan, Clarence 13, Warren the Dean, Martin Luther King, King practiced his speeches over and over. Brother told me from the South, he said that speech that King gave, I Have a Dream, that wasn't the first time he gave it. He practiced that in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Brothers down South drop knowledge on me. Brothers up North drop knowledge on me. The West Coast is the best coast. If you can understand, those are our people over there. The South, we all South. Malcolm said, if you south of the Canadian border, you South. Why don't we think like that? Why do you think people got mad at Ice Cube when he want to talk to Trump, when he talk like you, Truth, like he ain't worried about racism? Because Ice Cube is on a different level. You ain't making millions of dollars. You ain't making movies. If I'm rich, I can talk to another rich man. I can be white or black. It don't matter. I got money. But you a broke ass. Last thing I'm gonna say, but if you're a broke ass, 85er, ignorant, no knowledge of self, even if you're black, I can't help you if you don't want to take a book and start to learn about your culture.
Go ahead, Rufus. I like to interject.
Go ahead, Rufus. Go ahead, Truth.
So we as men have to understand we are soldiers, right? So anywhere we at, whether in America, anywhere, we're always, even when I'm always practicing on code about my surroundings, right? I'm not that motherfucking comfortable here, right? Where I'm just walking around like ain't no racism, ain't no robbers, ain't no killers, ain't right? There's all kind of shit that's dangerous out here. So we should know, we should always be aware, self-aware of our surroundings and be ready to act if needed to be acted. We're not, how you say, obscure to that there's some people who have different feelings about black people. We understand that. Because in Cali, we beef with the Mexicans. So when I'm out and I'm in the Nashville neighborhood, I'm very on point and very aware and ready to do whatever I got to do for me to get back home, right? And racism, classism, whatever you want to call it. Right?
Can I just say something to that, bro? That's deep what you just said about how the brothers beef with the Mexicans out there. And I think Ice Cube had a beef. Brown or somebody wrong and him, he had a beef with one of them Spanish groups, Cypress Hill or something.
Yes.
And they accused him of like taking some of their beats because Ice Cube liked to jack for beats, right?
Well, exactly.
But Ice Cube had to apologize because I guess he did it and he had to like make peace with them brothers. You know what I'm saying? Ice Cube took the higher role and admitted his mistake, from what I understand. But on the East Coast, we don't beef like that with the Spanish people.
Right. So I'm gonna land the plane. So all I'm saying is this, right? To the black man, right? I am proud of us and our economic success, right, and the things that we've achieved. But don't be naive that America is still a very dangerous place for us. You know what I mean? If I go to Mississippi, you better believe I'm gonna be ready for whatever comes with Mississippi got to bring.
That's not America's concept. That's a human concept. We as human are already naturally violent. That don't have nothing to do with America.
I got to say something about.
I'm almost there.
Okay,
that's the point I'm making, Ronnie. Ron. That's the point I'm making. But what I'm saying is that encompasses everything: racism, robbery, whatever. It's all encompassed of survival. So we as men know how to move out here, right? To protect our families, protect our interests, and protect our well-being. And I landed.
Okay, I got to say this. I want to say something about Mississippi, but I was very ignorant about Mississippi growing up as a Northerner, and I made a comment one time. I was in the car with my best friend in high school and his mother, and I said, Mississippi ain't nothing but a country bumpkin Negroes. And his mother went off on me. She said, I'm from Mississippi. My whole family from Mississippi. Don't ever talk about Mississippi. And I met some of the greatest, and she worked at MIT. So I'm like, my bad. I was just an ignorant city northern boy. Okay. Here's another one for you. I'm from Massachusetts. I had a wife that was from New York, and we weren't getting along. You know how that go. I'm not getting into all that, but we is not good black fathers. I was doing my best to be a good black father, and I took my son out for a day.
Hey, Chicago, mute your mic. Go ahead.
This is going to sound a little boring at first, but I want this really to sink in, and then I'm going to shut up. So I took my son out for a day, and when me and my wife were separated, and she was in Scarsdale, and I was on the streets of Yonkers and Mount Vernon, I went to Scarsdale. I don't even know how I got there. And most of the time I was broke. Didn't have much money, but I got there. I know I wasn't driving. And so I would always take my son to a park. I took him to a park in Scarsdale. If you know anything about Scarsdale, New York, that's a very rich white area north of the Bronx and Mount Vernon and Yonkers. Okay. Well, I took him to the park. And there's a bunch of white boys, mostly white boys playing. And I just put my son in the park with the kids. There were some girls, black girls, white girls, and watch what the white kids did. My son must have been about 8 years old. The white boy said, okay, you, Johnny, Jimmy, Billy, Ricky, you're on my team. All the white boys picked each other to be on their team. Then he said, okay, Jill, Jane, and Ali, that's my son, y'all over on that team. My son's like upset, Dad, why I gotta be playing with the girls? Why am I on this team? I said, just do what they're doing, man. You in the hood. Don't worry about it. He was mad, right? So my son had to play with the girls. You know what? I'm not discriminating against no girls. I'm just showing you how the white boys are sticking together. Then they just went to dominate my son's team in kickball. Okay. Now watch this. This is the same day. So I knew Allah was telling me something. I take him back to Mount Vernon. We go to the court at Mount Vernon where Heavy D's from, my great brothers, the Stevenson brothers, if anyone from New York is listening, okay? And I try to do the same thing. You know, as fathers, we don't want to always be involved. Just put the kid on the court, let him do his thing. But it's like, come on, you play this time, Pop. I was like, all right, that must have been one of my last basketball games about 15 years ago. But anyways, so what game do they play? Is it 2-on-2, 3-on-3? No, it's free for all. That's what we call it, when every man is for himself. So I was like, that's different. Now, as in Scarsdale, it was teams, but now it's every man for himself. Then one kid, I couldn't do nothing about it, but I was mad as hell. He took the ball. I think he put it through my legs, okay, embarrassed me. Then he bounced the ball off my son's head, okay, and scored. It was embarrassing as hell, man. Now, what is my point here? In the hood, where it's not always all good, it's all free for all, do it yourself, every man for himself, and there was no love, not saying the white boys love either, but they stuck together as a group to do it. We want to go after each other's throat, and I'm sorry if I came off any type of way. I was just getting kind of hyped, but we got to come together at some point, man. And if it's corny, the cornier it is, the better. Like brothers just call me dog. I'd be like, yo, what up, dog? Backwards. The dudes in Atlanta like, man, Muhammad, you better stop coming around here with that corny stuff. They'd be like, what up, dog? I'd be like, yo, what up, dog? Backwards. And if you know what that means, you know what that means.
Yep.
Like the brother said when he came on, I'm gonna give you all a hug. A homo kid, I'm talking too much, but a homo kid trying to come up to me on my job, I like, look, man, I don't get down like that. But do you need a hug? But if I give you a hug, it ain't no homo hug. It's a father to son hug. And that shook him up. See, I'm a revert. And when I teach in the classroom, oh, we like the light skinned boys. Well, I'm dark skinned. I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't even know what y'all seeing there. Kids look at me like, what? Especially in Detroit. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Jordan? I was in Pontiac Academy.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
You got to switch it up on our people, but use it to the best. All of us have the gift of gab, and we just need to use it in the right way. And our people have that. That's why we got so many preachers. The end.
Like always, Mr. Muhammad, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Hakeem always talk about you a lot, especially when I meet him in person. You know me, Hakeem, we be chilling and stuff. So he be like, yo, my home. So it was finally time to get to meet you.
Well, he be telling me about y'all, man. And I know you be balling. I know you be balling, Ron.
I'm the hustler out of the group.
If I want to be a baller, I'm gonna copy Ron. If I want to be the family man, I'm gonna copy Jordan.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it.
And you want Allah, you gotta copy Hakeem. Hakeem's Allah.
No, you gotta copy Muhammad if you want Allah. He the one that took my shahada. Yeah.
I get you them books and them bean pies. I do that.
No, but it's a really dope conversation. Shout out to Jordan for this topic. I think it was much needed, especially on Black History Month. I think, like we said, some of us, we have lack of education. I need to probably educate myself more and more. But the only reason why I say there is no racism is because this is the reason why I mentioned that pretty much stated that comment, is because you see Black people today is getting a lot of opportunity. Black people are now sitting at the president's table. You know how hard it was back then than it is today? Ice Cube literally had like you said, he was sitting down with Donald Trump to talk about how can we benefit the Black community? What can you do to make us go to the next level? That's a great honor. Back then, we wasn't able to do that. So that's why
Okay.
that's the only reason. That's the only reason why I mentioned that. Go ahead.
Here's one book. I just grabbed this on myself. This is Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore.
Yeah, I know Teddy.
Okay.
Yes.
Now
Mhm.
check this out, man. Just a quick history lesson. I don't want anybody to get upset or bug out, but this is why I love history, man, because truth is greater than fiction. Okay. He would not have been president if it wasn't for our great grandfathers who fought with him in the 9th and 10th Cavalry. Okay. When black men couldn't become officers, all they could become is a sergeant. They could become a lieutenant, they couldn't become a captain. But guess what? They taught this man and the other generals that came out of West Point how to ride horseback. That's why the 9th and 10th Cavalry, they were the horseback riders, and they helped this man become a hero in San Juan. Okay. When they took the hill, black men made this man. Now, who is this man? You know, like we say, what up, cuz? He had another, he had a cousin who was president, okay, FDR, who started all these food stamps and these different things like chicken. Everyone should have a chicken in the pot, which was good for the time. Also, he's the man that helped black people get into the Democratic Party eventually because he was Democrat. But the Democrats are the party of slavery. Furthermore, these men were related to a man who was the biggest drug dealer ever. Okay. Now, I can't think of his name offhand, so I'm a little rusty, but he was an opium dealer. Okay. These presidents got into the White House off of us, the Native American, and drugs. Okay. And there's nothing new. So I'm going to get in the drug game. Anybody want to tell me about the weed game? I never smoked, but hey, man, help me out. Like
It don't have to be a legal drugs. It also be prescription drugs too, because that's a big thing as well.
So teach me, man, because that's how you make it in America. That's why it's called Coke or Cola.
There you go.
But go ahead, Jordan. I think time is almost up. We got 30 minutes left, so